Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In today's video, what we're going to be discussing is the firing slash maybe just suspended Kevin Brown, the Baltimore Orioles announcer. Now, for those of you who haven't seen it, I will try to put it up on screen. Basically, the Baltimore Orioles announcer, he was kind of doing his pregame stuff as every announcer for any team, whether it be baseball, football, basketball, etc. He kind of starts out just talking about how the team has not really had that much success in Tropicana Field, the Tampa Bay Rays stadium. But in the same breath, he's also kind of highlighting the fact that the Orioles, they are very, very good this year. I believe they have the second best record in the league right now. But within the graphic, you do see where it shows, I believe it's like 0-15-1 since like 2017 in Tropicana Field. The thing that kind of pisses a lot of people off is the fact that he's just reading a graphic and he's not the one that kind of decides or makes the head honcho approval of this is going on screen, this is what we're doing. When it comes to whether it be TV or radio, for people that do not know, there is a lot of people within that space that all kind of make decisions on what's going to be going on air. And within the same breath, he is just reading a graphic. People in the trucks and behind the scenes, they are the ones that are, okay, 3, 2, 1, graphic up, 3, 2, 1, graphic off, 3, 2, 1, this, that. So I kind of find it hard to believe that he's the one getting the full backlash behind this when all he's doing is reading the prompt. Now, the thing that doesn't really make sense is the Orioles, I believe ownership is the ones that were behind this as to why he got suspended. And it does say here, you will see on screen, the Orioles, who own MASN, the network for the on-air Orioles broadcast, have issued a statement to the awful announcing stating, "We don't comment on personal matters, and we look forward to hearing Kevin's voice soon." The more and more I read into this, it almost seems like ownership has just been a big crybaby throughout this entire situation. I'm going to put this one up on screen as well. It says here, quote, "Despite it being in the game notes, ownership took exception to Brown pointing it out. Sources said believing it made them sound cheap. Baltimore ranks 29th in Major League Baseball in payroll." It's almost like we've all had that kind of friend that we all knew that there's drama, there's bad things going on in life, and it's like they just don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. Push it to the side, get it behind them. They don't even want to acknowledge it. And that's what it seems like this owner is trying to do. He's trying to just push it to the side. They don't even want to acknowledge it. It's behind us. Let's not even talk about it. Let's just look forward. I hate to break it to you, Mr. Owner of the Baltimore Orioles. That's what the media does. You look in the past. You look at things that you're shattering. Records of not beating a team, not winning a certain amount of games in a row, not winning a division, a conference title. That's what we do. The one bright side that's coming out of all this is the fact that other announcers from other teams, whether it be their broadcast teams, their local teams, a Fox, an ESPN, even radio analysts, they are all coming together for Kevin Brown, which is pretty crazy. Like one of the quotes here, it says, New York Mets announcer Gary Cohen said the Orioles organization draped itself in utter humiliation by suspending, quote, one of the great young talents in broadcasting in the game, quote. The thing that I'm just like laughing at with the Orioles is they have been this team that they just don't win games for so many years. They finally have reached like a mountain where they are successful. They are doing good this year. And they act like they have been the Kings for like the last decade. I hate to break it to you, the only teams in the Major League that can actually walk around with a little bit of a strut are a couple of teams. I would say the Yankees, the Astros, the Dodgers, maybe the Red Sox, and that's about it. Like, it almost seems like the Orioles, they were at this point now where, like I said, their team is doing well, they're doing great. Front office is making moves, they're getting young talent in there, they're hitting on their draft picks, they're developing them well. The farm system is working. And then you have the coaching within the league. They're coaching these guys up and making them actually play well. And what happens? Ownership. You tell me, what do you think is the number one killer whenever it comes to a team trying to be successful in any major sports? I'll give you a moment. You got it? Ownership. You can try and say the players because they're the ones playing the game. You can try and say coaching because they're supposed to put them in position. And you can even try to say front office because they're the ones building the team and the roster in general. But when it comes down to making everything run smoothly, the fish rot from the head. That's the saying. And you know what's sad? For those of you that don't know, I'm a Cleveland Guardians fan. But many years ago, I used to live in Maryland, so me and my dad, we went to Orioles games a lot. I was an Orioles fan at one point. Now, through and through, I'm a Cleveland Guardians fan. I'm a Cleveland fan for life. But at the same time, if the Guardians were not doing good, like if this year they don't make the playoffs and the Orioles do make the playoffs, which I think they will, I'm going to be rooting for the Orioles the rest of the way. I just really hope that in the sense of all this, the ownership from the Orioles are going to look at this and hopefully say, or the PR team is going to look at this and say, yeah, we fucked up. Because there's also a literal clip of at Camden Yards whenever they had the 8-7 loss to the Astros the other night, I believe. They were literally in the ballpark. Every fan in that ballpark was screaming, "Free Kevin Brown, free Kevin Brown."
Free Kevin Brown! 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 Free Kevin Brown!
It's an amazing thing to see because a lot of times whenever you watch these games, you don't really look at the announcers and the people upstairs in the building. You go to the games because you want to watch the game. And even whenever you're watching the game on TV, you don't really, at times, you don't really pay attention to the announcers because you're trying to so focus on the game. But when the announcers are talking, sometimes you listen to them. This is the one time where it's like, these people actually know him. They love him. I don't really got much to say other than I hope he gets reinstated. I hope in some way, if he forgives them, he's got balls. If not, he needs to go somewhere else and demand an organization to take him that's actually going to appreciate him. Because that man, I actually watched some of the highlights of him, I guess, commentating. He does a pretty good job. He gives a good insight. He talks. He's friendly. And he's not one of these kind of people where he just gives boring stories. He's talking about nonsense facts. He's giving the facts when it's needed. He's talking about the game. And he's having a good time. I'm going to wrap it up with saying, Kevin Brown, I wish you the best of luck for whatever your future is. Whether it's being with the Orioles, whether it's going somewhere else, whatever it may be, best of luck to you, man. And for any other owner out there in pro sports, lighten up. When your team has sucked for the past 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 years, your team sucked. If all of a sudden you finally are good, like with the Cleveland Browns right now, I'm a Browns fan, so I'm going to kind of segue into this. We have been awful forever. If for some reason we make the playoffs, then we start sucking these past 2 years, and then we go into the playoffs this year somehow, and we go to an AFC title game, I don't want to see the ownership thinking, don't talk about the past, don't talk about the history. History is there for a reason. But other than that, that's all I got to say for this video. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you drop a like. If you are brand new to the channel and you want to stay tuned for any other content, I post sports content here whenever it comes to discussing sports topics, previous games, events, anything sports, or anything you want to see specifically, you can comment it down below. But without further ado, this has been Dylan Talk Sports. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.